Now to some breaking news. Before we start what's trending, we're just learning, with officials of Kebbi State government confirming a terrorist attack on Maga Comprehensive Girls Secondary School, where an unspecified number of female students have been abducted. So the chief press secretary to Kebbi State Governor Ahmed Idris confirmed the attack, while also saying that the details are still somewhat ambiguous as of now. But here's what we know. The state deputy governor, Umar Tafida, has led a team of government officials to the scene of the crime, while sources report that a staff of the school was killed and some even sustained different injuries as the terrorists got into the school and shot sporadically. So we'll definitely follow that story, as we progress throughout the day. But as we talk about insecurity, we start what's trending today with the head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV, publicly naming Nigeria as a country where Christians face frequent attacks. The Pope made these comments on his X profile, but he also addressed a crowd after the Angelus prayer yesterday overlooking St. Peter's Square. And that's where the Pope used his platform to voice his concern with Nigeria. So these comments come amid what's really become international scrutiny of Nigeria after US President Donald Trump designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern over an alleged Christian genocide. He also threatened military intervention, as we know, but let's see what the Pope had to say.
Anche oggi, in diverse parti del mondo, I cristiani subiscono discriminazioni e persecuzioni. Penso in particolare a Bangladesh, Nigeria, Mozambico, Sudan e altri paesi, dai quali giungono spesso notizie di attacchi a comunità e luoghi di culto.
So those comments from the Pope came as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu this weekend sent a peace emissary, Dr. Abiodun Essia, to Plateau State to, in the administration's words, bring a sense of calm and push for intercommunal harmony. The announcement came on a post on X from the special advisor to the president on information, Bayo Onanuga, on Sunday, where he stated in part that Essia met with Christian clerics and Fulani Miyetti Allah community leaders. Delegates, traditional rulers, and more, all of them gathered to discuss ways to strengthen peace and promote the coexistence of diverse communities. She also paid a courtesy visit to Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo. This is someone who's been really outspoken about the killings in Plateau and other parts of the North Central. The pastor has repeatedly said that Christians are being terrorized and persecuted in northern Nigeria, and videos of Dachomo, like this latest one that you're seeing on your screens, or at burial sites of mass graves, have all gone viral on social media. So all of this is happening as different members of the Nigerian government, to this day, they're still repeatedly denying these U.S. allegations of a Christian genocide. But the U.S. House of Representatives is getting ready to hold open public hearings on President Trump's designation of Nigeria as a particular concern starting this Thursday. So, this story has somewhat taken on a new layer given the fact that we're hearing from the Pope on this as well. And Rufai, since you're sitting next to me, I'll start with you. If we take all of these stories along with that breaking news of, these female students getting kidnapped, how should we be thinking about the Pope and just insecurity in Nigeria overall?
I just pray we're able to get the girls back, but it reminds me of Chibok. It reminds me of Dapchi. Mm-hmm. God knows where Leah Sharibu is. But you see, the painful thing is that those that advocated for Leah Sharibu are the ones with the talking points today against Christian genocide. You can see how people become hypocritical and they use the plight of people for their own political benefits in this country. And may God visit them. May God visit their conscience and ask them questions. Mm-hmm. I think this move by the federal government is misplaced. And I say that. You are not showing any intention of solving the problem. You are sending your governmental aides to go and say there's no Christian genocide. And at the same time, you send somebody to Plateau to talk to Dachomo. Your governmental aide had a fallout with P.S. Morgan. We are still waiting to see that interview. The world knows that there's Christian genocide in Nigeria. I've quoted Jim Shannon. There are many other reports. In fact, this Congress that is going to start its proceedings on Thursday, there was a Catholic priest that went there, I think about a year ago, that already played the video where he went to give evidence as regards what's happening. So you can see the massive level of insecurity, but the government is not ready. If they are ready, they will release the list of terrorist financiers. Dubai shared that list with us in the last administration. But you see, for the sake of politics, they will never. The likes of Shegumi keeps running around and saying all sorts, peeing on the graves of people that died. People keep getting kidnapped and killed, but the government thinks the way to go about it is propaganda. I'm happy that Fox News is now also beaming the light on Samuel Jackson's case. The man that in defense of himself killed a bandit or a terrorist and he was taken to court. Blasphemy laws exist in Nigeria, and some governmental ministers are saying that no, we respect religious freedom, but blasphemy laws exist in Nigeria. I'm happy that the Pope has said it. Till today, the other time when this happened, President Tinubu said, oh, he's going to get ambassadors. Maybe they're going to get this, I don't know. So you can see that the government reaction like they will always do, is to deflect. But deflection does not solve the problem. Look at an APC chieftain, Makiri, that was killed recently. All of those things show that the government is not ready to solve the problem. Army, I'm sad to announce to you that many years after, we'll still be talking about this thing because government is not ready, and they've shown it.
And, you know, to your point, speaking of security or insecurity, let's head over to Katsina State now, where shocking new footage appears to show a number of armed bandits on motorcycles and bicycles storming the Kankia local government area of the state. So in this video posted on Saturday, a group of bandits ride into an open area as gunshots can literally be heard firing into the air as no security presence is there to counter them or protect residents. Let's take a look at the video, then discuss it. We're seeing that video as new photos were also released on social media as evidence of a peace deal struck between bandit groups and community stakeholders in that local government area, as well as 2 others. So in photos shared on Saturday on Dan Katsina's X page, his caption states that negotiations ended with a mutual commitment to stopping the attacks in the affected areas, which have brought some sense of hope for a more stable security environment, allegedly. But this peace deal has raised questions about what that peace deal might look like in neighboring local government areas, especially in Kano State. Interestingly, it's often believed that the de-escalation of violence in one area can have a ripple effect, pushing the violence instead onto another area in close proximity. And I'll come to you on this. I mean, that video, it's just the brazenness of the attack, how just, you know, they're completely out in the open and no one's around to stop it.
So the stories we've taken this morning show clearly that we have a deep insecurity problem in Nigeria, and it's an inherited problem. We didn't start with this administration. The only challenge is that previous administrations have not been able to deal with it. Going back to the last story around how we even negotiate with bandits, that has been criticized heavily by, you know, in different quarters. If you're talking about, you say, well, we negotiated with, or we gave amnesty to people like Niger Delta militants and all that. These people had an ideology. There was a cause for their violence. What is the ideology of the bandits? That they are criminals. Very soon we'll be negotiating with kidnappers and thieves. We'll be asking them to come to a round table to let us talk as to how we can appease them so that they don't steal our look at the brazenness of the attack and the fact that they have no respect for security operatives. So it's either one, the security operatives at this point can be accused of being in collusion with them, whereby they are aware or they are compromised, because there's no way that we have security apparatus in Nigeria and this brazen show in broad daylight is happening. So it's either one, we begin to interrogate whether or not the security operatives have been compromised. The second part of it is that we are just unable to, we don't have capacity for this. And that's why some Nigerians are saying, let the US come. Because if we've not been able to deal with this problem for so long, then maybe we need external help from people who have capacity to help us. But at the crux of it is the fact that we need to deal with this incessant insecurity that's plaguing across all Nigeria. And I want to speak about the Kebbi girls. It is sad that despite all the campaigns that have happened, you know, we've talked about other kidnappings that have happened in the past, and now when we're really talking insecurity on the front burner, it's almost a slap on the face of the government to see in the Northwest another case of kidnapping in a school. We've had the Safe School Initiative. What happened to that? We've had interventions following kidnappings. What happened to that? It means that the government is admitting through this incident that they are unable to tackle the situation, and that's one of the primary responsibilities of government, to ensure security of lives and property. Finally, on Christian genocide, I'll just say this one point, that with Dr. Essie going to Plateau State, I said it was a good move because we need to deal with this kinetically and non-kinetically, but it's also an admission that the government was too hasty in responding to the claims of Christian genocide without even an investigation first to speak to community leaders. So their reaction, first of all, knee-jerk was deny, say it's okay, then go back to NAS, okay, come together, let us talk to you and ask. Should that not have been done first before they went on to deny that it was happening in the first place?
And, you know, as we talk about security in schools, I want to take our next story from Abuja now, where a new video has sparked widespread reactions after being posted on Friday. Here's why. It shows the students' parents, Mr. and Mrs. Balogun, at Starville School in Abuja, slapping a teacher known as Mr. Etim. So this attack happened after Mr. Etim said that their son in year 8 pushed him twice, which led to him slapping the teacher, or slapping the boy, in retaliation. So in this video, Mr. and Mrs. Balogun quickly become violent with that teacher. Let's take a look.
I tried to slap you now. For you to slap my boy. Do you know that that's what makes my children? Are you stupid?
Mr. Nakundo, I would have also recorded, but I'm not recording. So you
slap my boy. Leave my phone. Madam, leave my phone. Let him beat him. Beat him very much. Let him beat him. Let him beat him.
How dare you touch my child? How dare you? How dare you? Yeah, I slapped you too. You don't have to be the public.
And, Dr. Abati, this video has sparked reactions online about a teacher's responsibility, disciplinary action in schools, and also the roles of parents in schools. The EduCare CEO, Alex Anya, followed up on this incident and reported that this student has now been expelled and the parents have been permanently banned, as from the school as well and online.
Very good.
Some have said that the teacher should have never slapped the student, even if the student pushed him. But violence in schools between teachers and students, we've done stories like this before, but this video is shocking.
Okay, this is not new, but there are many views, many dimensions. There's a traditional view holding that, look, students are, in schools and teachers are in local parentis, and part of the purpose of bringing up a child is for teachers standing in local parentis to help to discipline children, particularly when they are involved in any form of misdemeanor. That's the origin of the phrase, spare the rod and spoil the child. So traditionally, many parents will hand over their words to teachers to help train them very well. But that view has since changed over the years. This is not the first incident. I recall an incident in the 80s, I think at a school called ISI, where a parent took thugs to the school to go and beat up a teacher who had disciplined their child. And now over the years we have had similar examples. Now there is a law called Child Rights Act 2003. Under the Child Rights Act 2003, all forms of cruelty or harshness or violence involving children, is not they are not allowed. However, in some parts of the law, if you check the criminal code, if you check the penal code, to flog a child, cane a child, slap a child is not considered a crime. However, in some states of the north, since this incident occurred in the north, the caning of children is banned in many of the states because, the situation in the north, about over 10 million children out of school. The assumption is that if you keep applying corporal punishment, then the students will be discouraged. But the other leg of it, whether it's in the north or the south, is about parenting, the attitude of parents. This particular case is that of Mr. and Mrs. Balogun. Mr. and Mrs. Balogun went to the school physically to beat up a teacher who had slapped their child, and look at what the child did. He pushed the teacher. Should a student push the teacher? That in itself is an act of violence, which will raise questions about parental upbringing. Many parents in this country have abdicated responsibility. They are absentee parents. They are children that are brought up on a Western menu. Expatriate children whose values do not even exist. And so at that level, you have the upbringing of the child. How about the school itself? Because we were told in some reports that it was even the school principal that was taking the video of the incident and also encouraging the parents. So what is the policy in the school? What other steps did the school itself take before exposing the teacher to the danger of being attacked by the parents? And then eventually, of course, the teacher was expelled. The student also was expelled. So a lot of interconnected issues about parenting, about collapse of moral values, about also the standards in the schools. However, the basic excuse is that we have had cases of children being beaten in schools and the child just fell ill or the child died. There have been some dramatic cases like that. And in this particular case, you can hear the mother of a boy, saying, oh, what if you had killed him? What if he had died? And many parents will say, well, they pay so much in these private schools that, if you pay millions per term, who is that teacher who will go and assault your child? So the values have changed. Absolutely. But it's important to continue to campaign that, look, discipline is not something we can joke with.
And violence.
Alpha, did you hear that? You listened to that? I did a video before concerning these attacks in Kebbi State, where this government or bandit attacks the government girls secondary school by the principal, the vice principal, and kidnapped numbers of girls. As of the time of this news, they don't know how many, they don't figure yet how many of the girls that were kidnapped. And I said that this is just another Chibok girls. You could remember during the time of Jonathan, that was exactly what happened. You see, and I said something. Government of Tinubu, APC government, and some of the governors, not even some of them, anyway, the governors in the north, and some of the imams, the clerics, and the scholar, all of them, they need to come and tell Nigerians what business they have with insecurity, with these bandits, different groups. They need to tell us, starting from Tinubu himself, his government needs to explain to Nigeria what business he have with this insecurity, what agreement does he have with them, he and Shetima. They need to tell us. If they did not tell us, there is no solution. They will not solve the problem. And again, this is not something I've been saying it that Tinubu cannot fix this country, number one. Tinubu cannot even end this insecurity, number two. Somebody who created, if you are a problem creator, you create this problem. Tinubu is part of those people who created this problem. Now, he cannot also solve it. He cannot be a solution to the problem he created. I said it before. We just need to, whatever they are doing now, just to minimize the killing. That's the only thing they are going to do. To minimize it within the next 2 years of Tinubu's government. That's the only thing. Thinking that Tinubu is going to end this insecurity is a waste of time. Because Tinubu has failed already wastefully. The government has failed. That's why I like this guy. Tell them to their face. Tell them off that they have failed. There's nothing to hide again. You don't need to beat around the bush. He's sending people to this Plateau state that want to go and deny that there was no Christian genocide going on. At this time, they are still saying. Meanwhile, the more they are still saying, try to deny there is no Christian genocide. The Pope don't hear them. Pope don't talk. Pope, do you know the tweet, the message of Pope? It don't go AY, it don't go everywhere. And you see, they here, no solutions have come from Tinubu. Nothing, no press message, no address. He has not addressed Nigeria concerning this. Tell the whole world, this is what they have done so far. This is what they are doing. This is that. Let's see what is going to happen when they start this. When they start this whole thing on Thursday, according to them. See what is going to happen. You see what is going to happen. The US that they are talking about, they even have evidence. See, all this one we have been seeing on social media since this one started, what they have been telling us is not everything they will tell us. They are waiting for the right time to tell you. They have evidence more than we living in this country, what has been happening, because they have their religious leaders, representatives everywhere, every other country, the same way they have it here in Nigeria. So there's nothing you want to tell them. Thank God the issue of that one. You know how the US, they brought the US, this thing, a lawyer came from the US concerning this guy who they sentenced to prison, sentenced to life imprisonment for defending himself, for self-defense, because he was able to overpower the Fulani who came to his farm. Self-defense, that one is part of it. He's a Christian. So let these people begin to do what they are doing. It is not obvious to everybody that Tinubu government has failed. What we are doing now is looking for solution elsewhere, looking for help elsewhere. International, Donald Trump, any country should intervene to manage this country, to manage it within the next 2 years, so that everybody will come together and remove Tinubu from office. Then whoever comes into power at that time will start tackling this insecurity. Because if you are waiting for Tinubu, give him another 100 years, this problem will continue, because he is a problem already. He is a problem already. And all these people that they used to, they imported this insecurity to this country, they are all his boys, friends and relatives, political friends. They are his government. They are in his government. They are working for him. How do you now expect, even if the names they published in Dubai, some of them they are saying APC working for him, and Tinubu is their friends, or they are friends of Tinubu. How do you now expect Tinubu to act when they Tinubu? How do you now expect him to talk to Matawali, now who is the Minister of Defense? No, how? Anyways, this is what we have been saying now. What are you saying? Tinubu, a master of strategy, is the one doing this. By the time a master of strategy is done with Nigeria, there will be nothing left for this country again. Rather, what will be left is maybe debt. Debt that will be debt that will, like they said the last time, that the money Nigeria is owing, they have to distribute it to household, to all the landlords in Lagos to pay the debt. That's where he's going. By the time Tinubu is done with us in this country, a master of strategy, or he's going to leave in office, he will left behind debt, problems, sorrow, affliction. Is it not what is going on now? The whole country now is being occupied by different groups of insecurity. See here and there. With all this one, people are saying it does not even concern Tinubu. Anyways, I just pray that people are able to survive this administration within the next 2 years. If they can bear it, they can just minimize, make sure it never happens within the next 2 years again. That is the only thing. Anyways, what do you think? Please share this video and follow, subscribe to this YouTube channel.